Welcome to Friday. Pretty awesome. Gosh, who doesn't love a Friday? We have a lot of weather to talk about just because it's the weekend coming up. And we've got some wind in the Bay Area. We got wind on the West Coast. We've got some fire weather watches, wind advisories, cooler, but fire danger comes up because of the wind. We've got this area out in the continent in the United States, the Ohio, Mississippi Valley. We got this area loading up with heat. And we talked about this yesterday, but so here's the low, right? This thing's driving everything. Everything. This is driving what's happening here. It's driving what's happening here. It's driving what's happening here. This low, which is all attached to the jet stream, is dropped our temperature significantly the last 24 to 36 hours. It'll drop our temperatures further today. Reading, forget the 100s. You're in the 80s today, which for, coming up on the solstice now, June, not really, you expect 90s in Reading. Reading gets real hot. So what's happening, just the big picture, as we look at the satellite image, this is the jet stream. This low is digging. This ridge is amplifying in reaction to that low. Well, under this ridge is where all this heat is going to be. It's going to be, I don't know if it's a biblical heat wave, but it's going to be 2 or 3 days of millions of people, kind of Mississippi Valley over, just getting hammered by ridiculous amounts of heat. So let's talk about. We've got our near critical fire weather threat. This is valid. Is it, super red flag warning, head for the hills? No. If it was August, it would be September. But everything's in place for today through Saturday for windy conditions and for some fires to break out. It just takes nothing. It takes nothing. Like, see this guy here that secure the trailer chains. If you ever notice where most fires start, they start on the highway on 101 on 5. It's usually a trailer, a catalytic converter, a cigarette going out a window. But I would say in all my television fire reporting career, yeah, especially in urban areas, especially in California, 95% of fires ignite from the roadway. That you can see the flash point right off Highway 1. Usually a trailer or something like that. Now again, I discounted lightning strikes. I mean, a lot of fires start from that too, but it's amazing. Maybe that 90% may be wrong, but I think it's close. There's a lot. Fires start easily this time of year. And they start easily from highways. So if you see something, if you're on the road and you see a guy dragging it's usually, the chain that goes to the trailer, starts bouncing and throwing sparks. And on a windy day like today, so we'll pay attention to that. There is the wind advisory and the critical fire concern in brown. There's red flag warnings in purple. And you can see in these red flag warning zones, you've already got some fires out towards Utah and places like that. A lot of prescribed burns over the last few days, but nothing really active in California right now. But as we go through the day, this is firewatchduty.org. As we go through the next few days or into the evening, we'll check that map frequently. These are the watches and warnings. And where do you go with this, right? This is for today, but this area, actually this is that heat dome. This area gets going on Saturday, Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. So when I look at this, I go trough, right? There's this red flag warning stuff. It's not heat, it's wind, and then ridge. And this is ridge-driven heat. So these are primarily fire weather concerns. These are fire weather concerns for sure because of the heat, but really about people and hot. And this is through the next few days, especially on the East Coast. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to move this out of here. Hope you got a big weekend planned. Weather looks pretty good, but again, breezy conditions. I thought we'd take a closer look. This is a cool little page the Weather Service puts together. It is, I'll move this way. This is just showing us it's a combination of humidity, heat, overnight, daytime. It's just where stuff is going to get bad. And here we are on Friday. This is the heat stuff. Here we are on Saturday. See the heat driving that way? And you can see, right, here's the trough. Here's the ridge. And you're going to see the heat as we go into Sunday going further that way as well. I mean, look at that stuff. The purple is extreme. This level of rare and or long duration extreme heat with little or no overnight relief causes problems. So, I mean, this purple area, and again, I'm sorry, big cities, yeah. Chicago, big cities, yeah. It's a lot of heat, and it's hard to get away from a lot of that heat. So this is on Sunday. This is on, look at that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it looks like it really peaks right here on Monday. But so it's a number of days with big time heat. And I just think about the millions of people who are under that heat dome. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's going to be the big weather story for sure this week. And then the concerns for fire out here. Okay, so what's happening in our area? We've got the visible satellite. Here is this trough, or that low. It's the edge of that low I keep putting in, right? And that is interacting with what is left of the high pressure down here. And oh, speak of the devil, that's a fire right there, right? See the smoke coming off that? For sure, that's smoke. You can see the difference, the way it travels, the color of it certainly, and the fact that it's emanating. Where's it emanating from? It's hard to see. It looks like it's coming from, there's a couple little fires out there. Let's go back and, no, let's not. Okay, so here's the fog along the coast, and it's having, the inversion can't really exist very easily with the wind just shearing it apart. So clearing along the coast, breezy conditions. Out at Ocean Beach in San Francisco today, you're going to be, I mean, Great Highway winds are going to be humping, just humping. So remember, this is the image we're so used to. Here is the, sorry to keep doing this, but I think you're gonna dial this in and you won't need me pretty soon. So here's trough, here's ridge, heat, here's other trough. And that whole thing just kind of drifts towards the east. The whole thing, the whole sine curve will slowly drift towards east over the next few days, and that's what drives the heat. Remember that heat, the heat map, it drives all that heat offshore or out of the region, out of the East Coast region by Wednesday of next week, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So here's the model, and we'll see that depicted. So here's our low. You see the low at dig, and you see that high amplify. Digging here, amplifying here. Windy here, cooler, hot here, getting hotter. Okay, and so that is on Saturday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. And then the trough starts to kick out, continues to dig, and this big high just stays put. Gets flattened a little bit and starts to push offshore. There's that Tuesday, right? So you kind of see it getting pushed away. But our low, look at how much, look at what our low did. There it is. Look what it's driving. It's driving everything in front of it, everything. And it continues to drive and continues to keep us cool. And this pattern, there's a little flattening of the ridge, a little warm up on Wednesday, the 25th. But then it digs. There's a warm up there. But then it digs again. So I'm just watching the West Coast right now. So we'll see. We'll see if that all transpires. But it's an interesting study because you can clearly see the impacts the West Coast weather system has to Midwest and East Coast. So one of the things I thought about with the heat is I thought, okay, well we're gonna start to see air quality erode. So as the high pressure dome and the inversion settles in over these areas, the car pollutants, exhaust, particulate matter from smoke, any fires that may develop from an industry, whatever, going to get trapped. So there's going to be some nasty, already not good in Buffalo. But there's going to be some nasty air quality in parts of the Great Lakes region, New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Chicago. So that'll be a thing too. Okay, we just looked at the vorticity map. Now we're going to look at sea surface map, sea level pressure, GFS, and all I'm looking at. The first thing you can do is, let's see if I'll come a little farther here. Okay, first thing you see are the lines. Yeah, that's the wind right there. That's the wind. That's an onshore wind, which is fortunate for us because it would be extremely dangerous. It'd be a lot hotter, a lot drier if it wasn't. But you can also see here the thickness lines, those dash lines. That's kind of representing the front, the leading edge of that weather system. So, and you can see some precipitation trying to come in behind it, right? So that area pushes through, and then we get a little break from the winds. That's on Saturday night, Sunday. Sunday looks like a nice day. And the little lightnings, the thunderstorms up in the Sierra Nevada on Monday. And then there you go. Okay. I know, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then this is the wind forecast. So wind's already gusting 30, 35 miles an hour. By the end of the day, they're going to be howling. This is, I'm going to zoom up on this. This is Friday morning. This is the HRRR short. I'm going to come in close so you can see it. I wonder if I can do this. Yeah. Okay, so here's Bay Area. Here's these numbers represent, the contours are the best thing to look at because contours show you where the strongest winds are. So in the middle here is 42 knot winds out of the northwest. In the middle of this, out by Point Conception, are 41 knot winds. That's the forecast, or that's the current setup for today. So as we go forward, you can see where the wind fields are. And what happens here is we get into tonight, right, about, look at the Sierra Nevada. Look at these numbers. I don't know if I can dig those up. 60 knot winds. 60 knot winds along the spine of the Sierra Nevada today. That's going to cause some problems. That is for, that's not going to work to do it this way, is it? I'm going to have to shrink it down because I need to see the day. So this is for this afternoon. So sorry about the moving, you guys. So here is, so it looks to me like when I say I think the most critical fire danger for us in terms of winds is going to be Saturday or Friday afternoon, this afternoon, where the wind gusts up around Point Reyes are at 44 knots, winds up in Redding are at 40 knots, that Central Valley, you know how the winds get howling. And then you can see the different wind fields. But these are significant winds. The upside to this is they're essentially kind of got a wet northwesterly flow, so they're not completely compressional offshore winds creating massive heat and drying, but it's still not good. Still not good. And then the winds start to creep back as we go into tomorrow for us. And then you see the coastal winds really fire up again on Saturday afternoon. Not so much inland, but still breezy on Saturday. But those are coastal winds. That's gale. Those would be gale warnings offshore. So again, not seeing the big heat. These are the highs for today, from today. So Redding, just 80 degrees. Sacramento, 81. Tulare 88, Bakersfield 88, so much cooler. That cooling in proximity to this extreme heat that we had in the desert Southwest, they're getting a break. And then as we go into tomorrow, it's about the same thing, further cooling down towards Vegas and Phoenix and those areas. So pretty dynamic pattern. This pattern feels very spring-like to me. These are the wind conditions currently. Gale warning offshore in purple, fire weather watch in this kind of weird brown, and then you've got red flag warnings and heat advisories in the kind of colored areas of Nevada. And what you're looking at is, we've talked about this in the past, but I haven't done it in a while, what we're looking at is, see these barbs right here? These are wind directions. This map is available to you on my links. This is the gust, 18 miles an hour from that station. The gust from this station is 24. The gust from this station looks like it's up around Napa, 17. I'll come in a little closer. And it shows you the wind direction as well, right? Oops, that did not go well at all. Okay, so here we go. Sorry about the driving around. Just a lot going on weather-wise. So here offshore, we've got offshore of Point Reyes, or north of Point Reyes off Bodega Bay, 38 knot winds. Right now, 20 knot winds. Up around Lake Tahoe, you've got 44 knot winds. Or pardon me, not Lake Tahoe. The map's hard to read sometimes. That's kind of, yeah, it is close to Lake Tahoe. Okay. So you see the winds. I guess that's what I'm trying to point out. It's just windy. Windy as hell. And if I back all the way out, you can see all the watches and warnings, and you can kind of see some of the highlighted wind sections. And it's windy, and it's windy, especially out west. So, whoo, right? So today's gonna be cool, mild, windy. Tomorrow, most of the west coast of California, cool, mild, and breezy to windy. And then Sunday's your best day on the weekend. I had a thought today about the Puffins, because here behind this guy was flirting with the decoy. You can't really see the decoy behind him, but there's like a decoy that's not a live puffin. But they all seem to gather around. Like, see the little young puffins? Somebody chime in on this. I could Google search it, but it feels like the young puffins are drawn to the mirror. We think it's a mirror behind this guy. You can just move, dude. There you go, right there, that guy. See, that guy's just a thing. And I think the babies, like, see that little baby? It's like, oh, that's you, my mama? Oh, God, you're cute. So we have these. The reason I've shown you're like, well, dude, what's your problem with puffins? I'm like, well, we have them. We have them at Point Reyes. We have them, not like in this kind of abundance, but in the rocks and cliffs above 4 Mile in Santa Cruz, apparently there's puffins nesting. And the Farallon Islands is one of the I think, the largest, furthest south rookery of puffins. So we have them out there as well. So they're just kind of cute. And they got the awesome lighting. But I am interested in some puffin expert chime in and tell me why, because these little guys and they do seem to be babies that are drawn to this guy. Maybe it's a female, because that looks like the decoy. So, and that we think that's a mirror, but they look at the chest plate. It looks a lot like a puffin. Huh. All right. God, we just went from intense to puffins. That feels better. The heat thing, you guys, it kind of hairs me out a little bit for all the reasons we've talked about it a bunch. But when I see that kind of coverage for fire, it's like, it's going to be a long summer, man, right? And I just know that, especially I worry about fire and heat here as well. But in this area, you got millions. I don't even know how many millions of people live. And as this heat shifts east, are going to be impacted. And that means millions of cats, millions of dogs, millions of frogs, millions. I mean, it's right. It's an equal opportunity thing, man. You can't get away from it. So when I see heat, I get a little bit, I just get more, to me, it's a very kind of urgent thing. Not urgent, but it just can't get away from it. Yeah. And this is Mount Temps, breezy. Oh, you can see that. I'll loop this up for you. And you can see the breezy conditions. You'll see the fog out there, and you'll see the wind in the morning. Every once in a while, somebody comes out on the point in the morning. You may see a body pop in there, which I kind of get a kick out of. But it's windy. See the fog's just like, I ain't happening, dude. It's there. It wants to. Sea surface temperature. Ocean's cold, man. There's upwelling going on left and right with all this wind. Sand blowing along the Great Highway here. You'll see it. It's not going to be an easy day on the Great Highway. I mean, they close it, right, so you can walk on it, but it's like you're not going to want to walk on it today. This is Mount Shasta, further to the north. This is not showing us much because the clouds, right, it's up in that low pressure area. They may see a few sprinkles today, despite the wind advisories, and you can kind of see. Like, it would be an awesome lenticular cloud day for Shasta because the winds are there. Yeah, all right. So we're covering it now, dude. Now we're going to go Ocean Beach. Yeah, like this guy's money because he's got a tailwind right now. See how fast he's going? Like, I would go, okay, I'd have my wife drop me off at Cliff House, and then I'd walk that way. Anybody going this way, left to right, just headwind, man. Winds out there 35, 40 knots, and they're going to be maybe get up to 55 knots today. Not a good time to be at the beach, not a good time to be at the ocean. Steamer lane, I do this because look at all that wind offshore, right? And that's Santa Cruz. That's because the winds are kind of north-northwest, so it's going right by the point. And inside the point, it's like, what wind? But I assure you, you climb up out on the stairs and get up here, it's howling. If you're just standing there. But it's funny, you're surfing in here, you don't feel any wind at all, which is awesome. Okay, I think we covered it. So a lot going on. Keep your eyes out for smoke, a lot of heat. It's just kind of an interesting week ahead, especially as we go into Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on the East Coast, because they're going to get hammered. That's a lot of heat. Okay, I will see you back here. I don't have anything else for you, I don't think. I don't know. I might do one tomorrow. I probably will, just because of the fire danger and stuff. And again, ooh, nice set. It's not. It swells only like 2 to 4 foot, maybe 2 to 3 actually. Yeah, and it comes up a little bit tomorrow, but not much. Yeah, that's not bad. That's a. Sometimes the wind outside. It's great, great pod. The wind outside actually creates waves, right? Wind waves. Waves come from wind, but close near shore wind will also create waves. And you'll see they'll be closer together, the sets. Like you see there's a peak there. I don't know if it's going to do it, but it bunches the waves up. So big wind way away gives you awesome waves because it spaces them out by the time it gets to the 1,000, 2,000 miles away. But wind 50 miles or 20 miles offshore just pushes, it gets you waves, but it pushes them together, makes it real sloppy, and it really crushes the interval. Okay. I hope that was good for you. It was good for me. Okay. I will see you back here tomorrow.